Great. And with that introduction, we'll kick off today's session, which is a recap of LightBox 2023. My name is Beth Waldman, and I'm here from Career Development. And I'm really happy to have this group get together to talk about your experience at LightBox. And if you would like to start, Dan, and introduce yourself and what department you're in at CCA, and everybody can go around and speak to their own major department.
Great. Yeah. My name is Dan McHale, and I'm teaching drawing for animation. I've also taught visual storytelling previously, and I'm currently teaching senior project. And I've worked in animation over the years, and now I'm more or less an independent filmmaker and sometimes do freelance work. And it was my first time in LightBox.
Oh, it was your first time. Great.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Tony, would you like to go ahead?
Oh yeah, wait, what are we gonna talk about?
Just introduce your name and major.
Tony, third year junior animation major, and also my first time went to LightBox. Great experience. Yep.
Thank you. Irene, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm Irene. I'm a fourth year in animation right now, and this was also my first time at LightBox.
Terrific. Saul?
Yeah, I'm also fourth year animation, also my first LightBox.
Great, thank you. And Alyssa?
Hi, I'm a third year animation major, and this was my third time at LightBox.
Oh, great, third time. Okay, so terrific. And Isabella, you're a guest, I believe, or was she part of your group? I believe Isabella is a guest today. Thank you. Great. So I just wanted to get started and ask, really, I know, Dan, you went independently, but as students, I'd love to hear the story of how you self-organized and thought about going to LightBox in the beginning. And this is very much going to be like a casual conversation, so you can jump in and we'll let it flow, but I'll guide you through a series of questions so we can get into all the details. So whose idea was it?
I think like the usual thing about LightBox and these types of events is that like we all kind of like independently know about it, but then we just kind of like saw like whoever we could like wanted to come to this. I think in the beginning of the semester, like I think a friend of ours actually just made a group chat of just like whoever we kind of knew that had the free time to go. And then so it kind of started at the beginning of the semester. And then as like the deadline was kind of closing in, we were like, okay, we need to get tickets. Which days are you going? And then we just kind of like independently kind of like created like self-organization in that way. And mostly we're just kind of like talking in the group chat, kind of like in a more casual way. So that's kind of how me and my group kind of did it. And the people that were in my group were like Tony and like Saul and like some other people.
Okay, great. And was there a certain date you had to think of? Because LightBox is usually in October. So how many weeks out from the time of the actual event did you have to get tickets?
It was actually like a month in advance. I remember because like I was like traveling or something, and then like I suddenly got like a bunch of DMs from Tony actually. He's just saying, and like because we noticed that like hotels were like getting really filled up really quickly, and like there was like a limited amount of like places we could like spend the night at. So like definitely like I wouldn't even think like a month would be like that much in advance. I think you would have to kind of like think about it more months in advance. And I think that was like, we just kind of hit right at the margin of like, this is like great timing in advance type of timeline, you know?
So you could even sign up like in the summertime before the next one, which is October 25th. Like it might be good to think about it over the summer and start getting organized that way.
No, definitely, for sure. I think other people did it that way as well because they were so much more prepared than I personally was. And I thought I was like pretty prepared, like going like maybe a month or two like in advance of like trying to plan it out.
Mm-hmm. And Alyssa, with your organizing from going in the past, like, did you have to plan in advance? Like, has it grown a lot in that way as far as having to register and plan in advance?
I think Lightbox in general has grown. I've seen it grown a lot since the first year I went. I think planning wise, I think it was you especially have to look at the schedule of Lightbox. That was one thing I did was like looking at the schedules of the presentations that were going to happen
Mhm.
and seeing which one you really want to go to because if you have to like schedule your time in order like to get a ticket to that presentation and then like are you gonna make it to the next presentation? It's really like important. Yeah, the scheduling of where you want to go. But I think like travel wise, I'm lucky because I get to stay with my parents when
Uh-huh.
I go to Lightbox because I'm from that area. So I get to be close by. So I am lucky in that way, but definitely flights. Um, thankfully, like flights to San Francisco to LA are reasonable, especially if you plan in advance a couple of months. It's you can find some very reasonable tickets.
That's great. Did anyone drive? Did you drive, Dan, or did you fly?
No, I flew there.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
great. So I know that the students self-organized on their own, which is fantastic and what
Right.
I'd really love to encourage other students to do. But as this was your first time, Dan, I'm sure you've
Yes.
heard about it a bit through your industry, but what
Mhm.
made you finally choose to go this year?
Oh, I just feel a little bit out of touch with industry practices, and I decided early on, back in May, I bought my tickets in May. So that, in that sense, that was way, way in advance. I was very proud of myself for that. And then otherwise, I kind of let things slide and then had to scramble to get a hotel and flights. And I went with my wife. But yeah, I was not super organized about getting tickets for things, and I did miss. Did anyone go to the Scavenger's Reign presentation? Do you know that? Oh, you went to that? Yeah, I was too late for that. But
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
the hot show right now.
And what is that? Can you tell us
It's
a little
a
bit
it's
about
a
it?
series. Well, you know more about it than I do now, but it's a new science fiction series that is based on a short film that was made around, I think 2016 maybe. Um, yeah, and yeah, so but I got to see some other things. A demo about Procreate Dreams by what's his name? Aaron Blaise, the animator. Did anyone go to that? They were promoting it massively, that software.
Well, it seems to be what a lot of the students use as well, or one of the tools.
Yes.
Yeah, I think definitely the Procreate is the main sponsor, the biggest sponsor of this event this year.
Okay.
They have like huge tables in the section as like they're promoting, even though the badge lists are also
Hmm.
Procreate Dreams. So basically they have like spent so many times, so much money on there just
Yeah.
for this huge release. And I think
Mhm.
most of people are there just for this, just to try out. I think this is
Oh.
the only one first opportunity that you can try out the Procreate Dreams demo other than the first release on Paris or UK. I forgot there's other one,
Oh.
like there's other like a Insight store that you can go to
Yeah.
in Europe. But I think this is the LabBox is the first opportunities for our animation student to try out this program.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so how was that set up to try out the Procreate? Like how do you have to sign up for slots to try it out?
We basically just go there.
So you just
Go
wait in
there
line
and kidnap the what they call it, the manager there, and let them to show you the process of how to do it. And
Okay.
for me, I just carry my camera there, and I'll set up my phone, recorded the full demo of when they're showing me how to do it. So I have more advanced to know like how this program looks like before they release. They're not even released now. They're gonna release 7 days later, which is November 22, I think.
Okay, yeah, so it was a big kickoff event. So Alyssa, was there like in past years, like did you know who the big sponsor was? Do you feel like the big sponsor is connected to whoever's launching like a new big software
I think, yeah, every year they've had like those big sponsor names. I think, yeah, Procreate has been a sponsor in the past because they've always had like their big, like extravagant kind of booth in the middle of the hall. Um, and I think I've definitely saw like more Procreate based like presentations. So I think they've just become like more ingrained into Lightbox, so they're getting like more space to share their product and software.
or?
But yeah, I didn't really notice that in the other 2 years.
I see. So I think Saul, you went to the Scavengers Reign. And so besides Procreate, I mean, how is it networking? Say it sounded like that was a hot event to get to. So were you like in an auditorium of like 200 people, or was it signing up and being able to get to that like more of a demo experience? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I would say that one was more of like not a demo, just a panel. So it had a Q&A at the end, and then what they specifically showed off was the original 2016 short film, and then they showed a lot of the storyboards for the series now, and then the process of refining those boards into the finished product. Um, I think at the panels there was less networking that happened because it was mostly you would just sit in the room and let the visitors speak. I think there was like 50 or I'm not sure how many people were allowed per room. I think it varied on the panel. Some were bigger and some were smaller. But it was hard to get into all the panels because you had to arrive 15 minutes beforehand each one. It was a complicated system, so sometimes you had to choose like only 3 things that you wanted to see, or else you would miss one of them.
Right, so you had to really look at the main schedule and at least have your top 3. So,
Yeah.
well, that's good to know. And so on the schedule, they had the names of the panelists and the companies, etc. That provides you some information to follow up with, at least if you got to be at the panel. That's still a little win. Dan, what other panels did you sign up for or attend? You didn't sign up for them. Oh, sorry, I think you're on mute.
About that. So let's see. I didn't actually sign up for anything. I just went to the ones I could get into. And then as far as demos, there was a hall with sort of 4 areas going simultaneously, which was kind of crazy because it was a bit hard to hear because you could hear the speakers.
The echoing.
Yeah, well, you could hear the other events.
Okay.
There were no sonic barriers between them. They were just like curtains. So it was kind of a noisy space. But I attended a workshop by an artist named Lin Chen. It was called Color Temperature. So it was basically about painting and sensitivity to warm and cool tones in a painting. That was nice. What else? Of course, I went to the main hall where artists were. I saw a local artist and basically studio co-owner, Alan Lau, he's the co-owner of GhostBot.
Okay. Mhm.
Which is, do folks know about GhostBot? It's worth knowing about. It's a studio based in Daly City. Here, I'll put it in the chat. I'll put the name in the chat.
Yeah, I've heard of it
Yeah.
through listings like in Handshake, et cetera. But I think they may have attended one of our past career fairs, but we'll try to get them back. Can you tell us a little bit more about what GhostBot does?
They are really a Bay Area grown studio. Alan Lau, Rocky Ballesteros, they and others founded the studio, I don't know, around maybe 2007. I'm not sure about that. But they were pretty much Flash based. They probably use a lot of different software now. And they've done all sorts of things, some series, music videos, and so forth. Let's see, I'm posting it. But they have a great sense of design, and maybe a penchant toward action and science fiction.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just putting the name in the chat.
Okay, that's fantastic. And so did I don't know if y'all went to all of the same discussions or demos, but what else inspired you, Tony or Irene or Alyssa? What other
for me, definitely some artists that I know, especially James Gurney.
Okay.
My favorite painter, and I got his signature on the book of mine, and also definitely a really big YouTube art influencer called Porco, the Porco Bingo. I've been watching his channel for like since high school, so it's like I went to his panel and talk to him and get a signature and buy a book. It's so cool.
What's his name again?
Porco.
Okay.
Will you put it in the chat if you can?
Yes.
So, and are they located in the LA area or where are they from?
Yes, I think so.
Did you feel like a lot of the companies there were California based, or did you feel like it was drawing in
Yeah, basically LA based. Basically LA based. They have DreamWorks, like for the studio wise, they have DreamWorks, they have the definitely a Pixar, Lucas, they have Disney animation, they have Netflix animation TV series, they have a Disney animation TV series, they have a Bento Box, they have other like small studios there to hosting the opportunities, and they have recruiter there to you can meet them, you can ask them the questions, and most of people I know when I'm waiting in the line to talk to them is like they preparing for trying to get the internships there in the studio. So basically they're just asking questions and have the connection, hand out the name card and like that. So basically that's it. And also like Riot Games and Blazer Entertainment. So like so many companies there, studios. But I think it's really good opportunities to meet the recruiters there, who have worked in this field, and I get to know a production manager from Sony Picture, and I followed her on LinkedIn, so we get to contact. And it's nice opportunities, and especially for me, because my personal field is kind of like off the industry. I'm doing like stop motions and hand making stuff. Like the people know me who knows my work, and I would like to ask the industry about the future, like or their career development, because most of the industry are focused on the 3D development, 3D animation art. So basically, I just asked them if there's any like opportunities to for me, like overall questions. But I think the recruiters there is so nice that Lucas and Sony Picture gave me really nice suggestions or advice. to apply to, and how should I think about my future. So I think it's worth to go there and ask people. Do not hesitate, even though there's
Right.
not your field. I even asked Blazer Entertainment is like literally non-related to my workout field, but I asked the recruiters, and he told me that I guess some fun news that the Blazer Entertainment, they have couple sculptors in their company, like working in their companies. They actually doing the sculptures by themselves. They doing like custom, like cosplay customs by themselves. But I also get to know that some industry, they got a connection with other small studios, which is doing the stuff for the
Right.
for them. So they suggest me to just go over those studios and contact them for the field that I want to work with. So I think it's really nice experience when you talk to the studio panel.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Did anyone else get to speak to the recruiters? Saul?
Yeah, I think I didn't speak to Blizzard, but I spoke to Pixar, Lucas, Disney TVA, Sony, and DreamWorks. I think and Nickelodeon.
Great.
I think Nickelodeon and Disney TVA were the ones that stood out to me, in terms of like, making the connection with the recruiters. Like we're on LinkedIn now. And they gave good advice in terms of, I asked them like what has held back applicants in the past when you're looking for an internship or entry level positions, and their responses were really helpful in terms of like how I'm going to curate my portfolio moving forward and also my resume. Yeah.
So what did they say, for example, with your portfolio? Like what were some things that held people back?
Yeah, well, for me, I went in like telling everyone that I was doing like viz dev and like character design and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So they gave me specific advice for that in terms of like a lot of applicants don't do the technical work, especially for television. They want to see a lot of hands, a lot of mouth charts, not a lot of color because color is a separate department unless you're in film, which sometimes it overlaps.
Mhm.
Um,
Like illustrations, they wanted to see more development with illustrations.
I think actually more of the rough work and less of the illustrations. I feel like the illustrations was for like Pixar when you want to go into film. But
Mhm.
for Nick and Disney TVA, it was more like get in more of that rough work,
Mhm.
um, show more ideation, and also try to draw like more normal people. One of the recruiters told me, because a lot of people focus on their more fantastical characters,
Mhm.
when just drawing variations on someone wearing a t-shirt can make you stand out.
That's great to hear. And Dan, from another perspective, since you're not a student, did you meet with any recruiters or speak with have any interesting conversations with specific companies that you could?
No, I didn't do that. In fact, I kind of wanted to ask students what they were feeling about that.
Mm,
I I was in the room where that was going on, and there were very long lines. I did
mhm,
wait in a line, but I kind of was not patient enough. But I'll tell you what was on my mind is I'm working with students who are making senior projects, and they're very devoted to the storytelling. And sometimes I feel like I wish they would make shorter films because I worry about them being able to finish it in the allotted time. And I've heard that recruiters don't want a long reel. So if you're talking about something for your reel, 2 minutes seems like plenty. And not that a short film or senior project has to be under that, but so literally that's what was on my mind.
mm.
I was going to ask a recruiter what they think about that, but like I said, I didn't end up getting an answer. But I think I kind of know the answer. They don't really want to see a lot of footage. I think within a minute or two, they kind of know whether they like the animation or not.
Yeah,
my
no,
assessment.
that's great to hear. Did anyone else like get into the idea of reels or links like that for your portfolios with anyone? Irene, did you meet with any recruiters?
I personally didn't meet with any recruiters or did any like the portfolio reviews at Lightbox. My main priority with Lightbox is mostly just to like learn how to like network and just kind of like feel around for like the community that is down in LA, because like I do want to make that move in the future. And just like I've had such a strong like art community here and like knowing the animation community up here, and it's just like, yeah, I just like mostly wanted to see if I could just like get along with people, just like see where people were at and like why people also wanted to come to Lightbox. So that was kind of just like my main thing, is just connecting with people. I brought like a whole thing of like business cards. Like I think I ordered like 50 of them. And
Mhm.
like I completely ran out of them after like the second day or something like that, because I just kept talking to people. I was just like the main thing was just like talk, like just like not being afraid of like strangers, and like knowing that they're just like you or I, and just like very intrigued and like disciplined and like really like driven for this industry. And I just wanted to know like kind of what that landscape felt like, where I fit on that too. Because I'm like, am I ambitious enough? Am I hard on myself enough? Or like kind of just seeing what other people were talking or like were like as well. And also you actually build a lot of camaraderie and like a lot of networking through actually just like waiting in line, actually. Like
Right.
I think like I was like just talking to like people a lot through waiting in line, and just kind of like almost just like complaining about the lines too. Like there's like commonality and like friendship within like complaining together. And
Mhm.
like oftentimes that is kind of like the combining glue that like builds a community kind of together, common struggle, common like goals and stuff like that. So that's kind of just like my thing, like going into Lightbox. So I didn't really talk to like a lot of like recruiters, but I was talking to like a lot of students and like people that are in post grad, and like and kind of just seeing like where they were, and also just like the artist alley as well. Like the really established people that are like often like very viral, very like famous in their own industry, and just like going to talk to them for a bit and just like seeing who they are as people, instead of like the icons I like look up to for many years. So yeah.
That's fantastic. I mean, I think it's so important to, yeah, that accessibility. I mean, getting to know your community and obviously just practicing talking to people, because especially in the creative field, it's so networks can be everything, for opportunities that come up. So did you all prepare business cards or, cards, creative cards when you went? Yeah. Well, that's great that you organize that way. And people are very networky in LA, and LA has so much of the industry. So there's a there is a sense of being used to introducing people to each other, because that's how the industry works down there traditionally in film, but it's expanded obviously with all of the entertainment companies down there. And some video game companies also make animated series. And, there's kind of a lot of this crossover of ideas going on down there. Alyssa, did you get a chance to speak to any artists or recruiters, or how did you look to navigate that?
Yeah, I spoke to uh, a couple recruiters, just talking about internships, and what those look like. And then for artists, I think one of the cool things is that they have like a whole like hall with just like just filled with like artists selling their artwork, their books, their just any kind of merchandise, like stickers with their art on it.
Mhm.
But I think that is like a great place to like just get like one-on-one time just with like artists. Because I know like we go to art school, so we have like we're like surrounded by other artists. But
Mhm.
this is like a great opportunity of like pretty much going around and seeing artists pretty much like displaying their work,
Mhm.
and you're able to go to which work you're interested in and just like talk to the people who make it. And I think I think that's a great opportunity to have.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, you're an artist, Dan, in that regard. And how did you get to connect with some of the artists there, or how did you feel about that area?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. And oh, so let's see. Here's a sticker I got.
Oh, cool.
That's from Alan Lau of Ghostbot. This
Okay.
is a sticker for Bulletproof Candy. That
Nice.
is a online comic. I'm interested in, I like painting and color, and so I talked to some painters and got some business cards. And then another thing, I did have an interesting conversation with someone who's, I guess, beginning their career as a layout and background artist, not so much painting, but just the drawing part.
Hmm.
And that's an area where I find some reluctance among students at CCA, not all the time, but so I wanted to talk to that artist about how they approach it. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that sometimes I find students in my classes, they really like close-ups, and I kind of say, could we widen out, give us a wide shot, more context and all that. So I kind of was trying to find out ways to deal with that. And I had a follow-up question for you, Saul. Actually, this is not related to layout, but I just wanted to clarify. You said that you asked recruiters what was an obstacle. They told you maybe not so many fantastical creatures, maybe make sure that you can draw normal looking characters. You said, did you say lots of hands? So was that in the area of character design?
Yeah,
Yeah.
area of character design and general like design for television,
Oh,
like
okay.
what should be on your portfolio.
I see. And what about layout? What about that aspect, like drawing in perspective and designing environments? Is that an area that interests you or that you want to include in your portfolio?
Yeah, that is an area that interests me.
Mhm.
They told me basically that the technical aspects of layouts, like perspective, is
Yeah.
kind of a given, and if someone doesn't have that, then they'll probably um, go to the next application.
Oh, so they want to see that then.
Yeah, they do want to see it.
Okay.
And they said also same thing with the backgrounds, like do black and white variations, or tone variations over color if you're applying for television.
Oh, okay. So grayscale work.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, that is like, it's interesting per genre, like to understand, what might be important to think about in submitting your portfolio, because as you said, if you don't show everything they're looking for, they'll go on to the next one, right? So if it's film or video games, I mean, it sounds like this is a place to really get those questions answered, or as a professor, like understanding that too. And because you were saying this is for character design for TV, right? Saul, when you were speaking to this specific recruiter, did anyone else get any specific feedback from recruiters in a different area about the portfolio? I don't know if Tony or Alyssa, if you spoke to recruiters that might have been specific about your portfolio.
Yeah, I don't ask them regarding to my portfolio stuff because mine is kind of like different.
Mm.
But I did show some of my work to them. Because the main issue I want to focus on is like my work is not in the overall industry.
Mhm.
So it's like I just want to like focus on the most confused question that I've ever have.
Mhm.
but I saw other people also talking about the portfolios, and I heard that they talk about it. And Blizzard Entertainment, they actually have a demo of the portfolio that they like to see from the applications. It's like
Okay.
they have an iPad for you, and they even give you like a ArtStation link that you actually can just go there to see how what kind of work that they expected.
Mhm.
But most of them, I think this year, our LightBox won't accept a portfolio review in the studio panel. I don't know what happened, but probably because there's a lot of people to go there. I saw people trying to show them the portfolio, but usually they just don't
I
want to
see.
see it. Some recruiters have you have opportunities to talk to individually, like one. It's on Netflix, but it's like more private talk. But definitely, I don't really know, but definitely they just tell you like, if you want to have any other like further questions and conversations, just email them. So they will give you like the email to contact the information.
So did you get email addresses of specific people?
I got email just from Sony Picture.
So of
Uh,
like a person versus a general email contact?
yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Basically, I just contact her.
Yeah,
And
and I mean these are important relationships to build. So I mean, I think, even just these exchanges, starting with LinkedIn, following up and sending them, your updated portfolio, and then maybe in 6 months, you never know. It's great to be able to have the open conversations. Like Tony, you said that Blizzard, I think it was Blizzard, mentioned that they're working with outsourcing some of the parts of their projects or certain projects. So, and my husband's in gaming, so I kind of understand how that works. And so it's interesting just to, if they gave you the names of those smaller companies, did they give you names?
some of they give the name, some they don't, because they're
Yeah.
recruiters. They're not familiar with the company they are
Sure.
talking to. And
Yeah.
also Netflix refused to give me any other information related to this, because it's like a secret.
Yeah.
But definitely they gave me a trick to do that, which is
Mhm.
just go to the movie that I like, and to see the credit section.
Yeah, well, it's true.
Basically, that is a trick. Yeah, it's a
The
loop.
backwards, research that you can do, even if you see someone's in a role at a company, like the people you switch cards with, then you can look them up, look up their LinkedIn profile and see, oh, were that they had another company before. Every individual that you're meeting is showing like a roadmap to where they got to where they get. So LinkedIn, or in the visual arts, we can always go to the gallery website and look at an artist's resume, look at what residencies or where they showed before. So, a lot of designers or even creative producers at companies like also have their individual websites, and, just through a few little Google searches, you can, that's why like just getting a name and a contact can be so important. And if there's something that they did at another company, or the next time you reach out, just, showing that you have interest in what they've done, and asking, having the chance to ask a little more or something like that can be the way in. But yeah, I think that just showing up is half the battle, as they say. Well, did anyone of you know anyone who was a participant at LightBox? Dan, did you know anyone from the industry before you went, or? Oh, you're on mute still. Sorry.
I do know Alan Lau. Yeah, I've worked with him before. So
Okay.
so yeah. Let's see. I guess he was the only artist in that enormous hall that I did know in advance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, that's
Uh,
great. And had they been there like in previous years, or was this their
Gee,
first?
I'm not sure,
Okay.
but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I understood through an alum wrote recently who works at Disney Animation TV. He wrote back because of the event, but he wasn't able to join. But I hope to bring him into some program. But
Yeah.
he said he just said how much Lightbox has grown, and I think you were reflecting upon that, Alyssa, too. And just I think it is a lot of these big companies participate, in these sort of this sort of conference event, and sometimes they can be tough to access in general. So getting them all together, and it's not too far, flying or driving can make it accessible and can make a big difference in your careers and networking. And then following them on, YouTube or social media anytime you can, continue to be part of the community, right? Like Irene, like you were saying, that just having the chance to know who you want to continue to focus on can be really important. Tony?
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth to go. Because like when you're waiting the line, like me, Erin, and Sol and Karina, we were waiting the line to go in there, and it's like you can see a lot of people from other schools or from who works in the industry. They fully prepared a lot of stuff. They're exchanging cards. They even give you a side of like what their work was. As like they print out their portfolios and stuff. And it's so fun that I know Irene, who met like a person from Instagram who she followed her before, and they like cross followed. It was like so fun to see the people that like actually met each other in person instead of online. And I know there's a couple there's some Instagram people that I know I followed on Instagram. And then I was like, oh my God, they have a panel there. I'm definitely gonna check it out. You can check it out in person. You can talk to them. They can follow you back. You can get their work. It's like it's fantastic.
No, that's awesome.
Fantastic.
Well, what would you do different if you were gonna go next year, which I hope you do, but would you do anything different?
Let's see if I can find other exhibitions or conference that I can go. If you don't, I'm definitely gonna go again to see. This time, I'm definitely gonna fully prepare with stuff, because we thought we got prepared, but when we've been there, a lot of people having their like actually fully prepared stuff, which is, oh, I think I have to do it next year too. And also because the first experience, so we get to know how are we gonna do or plan out events and next year. And definitely know people, and also if the recruiters or the people gonna be there again, you can meet them again and have like more deep connections. And also it's gonna be great if you talk to recruiters and show them your development in the year. They're definitely gonna glad to know that. So I think that is the great opportunity to go there again if you have time. And yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. Yeah. And how about the rest of you? What would you do different for next year? Irene?
Definitely for me, because like I didn't focus so like heavily on like portfolio and portfolio review and like talking with like industry recruiters, that's like gonna be my next focus for next time. Like having like a well thought out portfolio, like being more competitive about like finding portfolio reviews and like signing up for those, and like less focused on like the demos and like actually the talks, because like now that I've kind of like seen what they're about, kind of like the general feel of like all of those, because there's like I think there's like three different kinds of panels. There's like the panels like Saul went to that are just kind of like talking about like their show, kind of like how they kind of like made it. And then like the second ones are the demos where like live drawings, live paintings, like you get to see like those methods. And like the third ones are just kind of like kind of like a weird hybrid of the two, kind of like the Procreate Dreams demo. Like that one was like a huge one that's like kind of like a main like a main one that they kind of like show there, but like so like I know kind of just like generally what those gists are, and like also like advice panels too. I generally feel like if you know like a good chunk of like advice already, and it's really just kind of all about like kind of like where I am, where I'm just like I just want to know just like what people are looking for in portfolio, and just kind of like connecting with more people down over there in LA.
Mhm.
So like I would just like kind of like want to like focus on that, and also just like planning a little bit more ahead. Like I said before, like a month in advance isn't like the best. Maybe like 2 months in advance, like just
Yeah.
so like the cost ratio benefit is not like too overwhelming for people, because I know I spent like so much money just like supporting these artists, like buying their books, their art books in particular, because I wanted to see like what Saul was saying, like their roughs. Like I bought like a lot of sketchbooks, actually, like their sketchbook art books, where like you're not necessarily seeing finished illustrations, finished works. You're like seeing how their mind works, kind of their constructions and all of that. And like and like that's kind of the mode that I'm in right now for next time.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome to hear. Dan, do you want to share any sort of thoughts, kind of reflections, or what you might communicate to students about
Oh,
like?
well, it's just an impression, but I don't think I've ever seen so many animation people in one space outside of a film festival. Maybe the Annecy Festival in France would probably be the closest that comes to that, as far as like being on a site
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing animation people everywhere. It's kind of fun and exciting. So I would probably go again.
Yeah, very inspiring. I mean,
Yeah.
I've gone to visual art fairs like that,
Hmm.
but when I
Yeah.
saw Lightbox just seems like definitely something that CCA, especially animation and that whole area, game arts, it's great to think about going, because it really helps you envision, your career and being able to ask all those questions. And Blizzard's based in Seattle, I think, but has extended studios in California, and a lot of these studios have internship programs. Some are internships, and some of them are international, which
Mhm.
could be fun for the summer. But a lot of places, Disney, Netflix, they do have these internship opportunities. Some come in through Handshake, others we try to post. And Saul, how about you? What sort of takeaways did you have for next year?
I think I would just try to be more social from the get-go, because I think I was very nervous and like tentative to talk to different people the first night and the first day. And then on the last day on Sunday, I talked to a lot more people, because it felt like, okay, it's the last day. I need to talk to people. And that's when I felt like I experienced the event more in the way that you're supposed to, I guess. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would do differently.
And did you all stick together? Alyssa, did you all stick together, or you all kind of, you didn't, you just did your own thing? That's cool. And I guess for you, Alyssa, you had gone before. So, I mean, what was different about it this year than previous years for you?
I think every year I've gone, I like learn something new, or I'm like, what am I gonna do differently the following year? I think definitely like going into this year, I was definitely thinking more about like scheduling what presentations I want to go to. Kind of like taking advantage of the time that I was there, because I was able to go to the 3 days that were available. But even with that, there's so much to see, there's so much to do, that it's hard to like go through everything. So I think definitely like like have a purpose there, have take advantage of all the things that are there, because I think if you there's a way to do it where you'll be beneficial to you in the long
Yeah.
run.
And is it one ticket for all 3 days?
I believe you can buy separate days, so you can buy each day separately, or you're able to buy like the 3-day pack. And I think you are able to save some money if you buy the 3-day than buying 3
how much?
individual.
Yeah, how much is the 3-day pack approximately?
I don't know if anyone else knows the number, but I think it was around like it was like maybe 160,
Okay. Did anyone
150.
at 150 once? Well, okay, that's a good gives us a good sense. And what about the 1-day tickets? Did anyone buy a 1-day ticket?
Yeah, I did. I just went on Saturday.
Oh, Saturday. How much was that one?
I don't remember.
Okay,
It was way back in May, but yeah.
right. Maybe early
I think it's
bird
like
special.
74, 77 something, depends on the day.
That
I
sounds
see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
different day
so
have different price.
I
sure.
see.
Yeah,
Well,
but
that's
definitely
yeah.
order the ticket ahead. The Friday and Saturday ticket goes really quick.
Oh, do you feel like they sell out? Is part of it?
Not that much though.
Oh.
Like a week, definitely a week before the conference, like the exhibition. Is that okay? So Friday and Saturday ticket is sold out, so you only can get Sunday class,
Okay.
Sunday pass. Yeah.
So that's good to know for the planning. And Isabella, I know that you're our guest. Do you have any questions or comments for us? You can put it in the chat if you'd like. I just want to give you an opportunity. Not
Sorry,
to
I'm here. My mic is a little weird, so I had to quickly fix that.
Okay.
One question I did have was you guys mentioned a few times that when you went, there were some things that you guys didn't prepare. You didn't realize you had to prepare until you got there. What were some of those things that you guys like weren't expecting that you would need?
The panels are like really competitive to like get in. Like it's like no joke. Like you actually have to get there like I think like an hour and 15 minutes like before any of them. And that means like if you were to like plan like panels like almost just like 5 minutes or 10 minutes apart, like you're just like not gonna go to like the one right before it. Like that's kind of just like the sad truth of it. And it's just like and the lines are like very long, very long, and you just kind of have to like there's like a line to like get a card to be able to have a seat like inside of the panel, and then when you get your card, you come back when that panel opens, and then when that panel is like about to open, there's already like a line, so like you actually have to like wait in line again, and then like that's kind of just like the one thing I didn't know about coming into it. There's been a few instances where like a lot of the panels that I did want to go to like I couldn't go because like the tickets that you had to like wait for like just like sold out, and that was like pretty sad. But other than that, like I think like I think like it was like pretty fine otherwise.
And I think one of you mentioned cards or that you wish you had made more. Some people brought more things. Were those like digital presentations or were they physical printouts or I don't know, Saul, if it was you or Tony. Like that's
I
some
would
people.
say
I think Erin
oh
said
yeah,
that.
you can go, Tony.
No, I think Erin said that she ran out like 50 of them. For me, I just handled like 10 of them for mine. But definitely, if I like need to plan ahead next semester, I mean next year, I definitely have to first the panel thing that is frustrating me a lot. Like I actually just run back and forth from the presentation center, the presentation hall to the artist alley and come back and like back and forth and running. It's like super time consuming because you have to be there super early to get a ticket, and you don't know when they hand in a ticket, so you have to be there, ask the person when they're gonna release the ticket for next panel, and then you go to the next panel that take a ticket and come back. So it's like and definitely if you want to go go to see every artist alley and also the panel, the presentation, the demo, definitely 3 days is worth to go because you don't have the time actually for 1 day or 2.
Yeah, sounds like you have to kind of be on a mission.
It is. I don't have time for lunch either.
You've got to want it.
Mhm.
Well, that's great. Does anyone have any final comments before we wrap up? Well,
Thanks for organizing this.
yeah, well, thank you. I mean, I saw that y'all went, I saw some photos and I reached
Mhm.
out and I just thought this would be a great discussion because it's so important, you know, to start planting these seeds and asking the questions. It'll really help you, you know, be more focused and get ahead and understand what you do want to do and what you don't, and you know, how to think about your portfolios. So yeah, I thank you all for your time, and Tony helped me organize all you fellow students. Thank you. And Dan, yeah, it was really special to have you here and have the perspective
All
of
right.
practicing artists and faculty member, because it's what you also bring back to your classes. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to plug LightBox more, like LightBox Expo more. And I think it's great to know about these opportunities, and yeah, I want to be considerate of every time. And Isabella, thank you for joining. I'm gonna share this, and thank you for all your feedback. And I hope to
All
connect
right,
with
great.
all of you one way or another.
Yeah, all right. Good to meet you.
Okay, thank
All
you.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
bye,
Beth,
everybody.
do you have a
Have a
time
good
after
evening.
this?
Huh?
You have time
Thank
after
you.
this?
Oh, sure. I'll
Yeah, I
stay.
would like to tell you something like
Okay.
I want to ask. So basically, I